guess when this documentary I was watching was made, and like Michael Dudikoff came to a birthday party and stuff like that, they're still friends, and I think that's great. So it holds a good place in their heart. But I don't know if you walk away from this movie after everything and being like, man, we made a good movie.
Right. Yeah, I think like after this, it was just kind of, young, a lot of young actors. But I mean, you have people like Steve James too, had been in other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You had John LaMotta, Don Stewart, and older guys, which we'll talk about, and of course the Asian actors in here too, who have been in a number of things. But these American kids, they're just young and getting started, and I mean, they're happy with what they got. And then you turn around Monday and you realize that, whoa, we've had a pretty successful opening weekend for what we thought.
We're part of a hit.
Yeah. And even the funny thing is, too, I think there was one more, but I know that Steve James and Judy Aronson, they were in another movie opening that weekend, too. They weren't in main parts, but they were in Weird Science.
Weird that came Science, out that that's right.
Well. Yeah.
How about that?
So you got two movies opening up, like, you're just hot shit.
And they both became cult favorites in their own right.
Right.
People love Weird Science to this day. This movie has some stars. And let's go ahead and talk about more of the actors in the movie. Who should we talk about next, Marcus?
I think Shinyuki, John Fujioka. Just that kind of character that you want, and quiet and giving throughout the movie as far as just how he was being portrayed. But he's been in others like Mortal Kombat. You've seen him in Pearl Harbor.
I would love to get to talk about
Tadashi Yamashita, Black Star.
Yes, thank you. So this guy been everywhere. He was in a movie just called The Karate.
The Karate, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's been in some major ones.
Yeah.
Enter the Dragon, The Octagon with Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
Jim Cotta.
Dear Lord.
Dear Lord. He makes a return in American Ninja 5.
Yeah.
He was on Knight Rider. He's done karate demonstrations on ESPN. And my God, has he been all over magazines. He was in Black Belt magazine, 71, 73, 77, 86. I mean, this guy's legit. He's a badass.
Man, that was like, I'm trying to think of a good sports, magazine now, in the early 2000s, if you, Sports Illustrated magazine, but just think about being on the cover of, Black Belt Karate magazine in the 80s.
I mean,
like,
yeah.
That's huge.
From 71 to 86, he was on the cover of 10 martial arts magazines. Or he was on the cover or featured in some way. I mean, wow. He was really revolutionary, it seems.
And it seems like he came up with his own system, the Yamashita system, known as Suikindo. Suikindo, is that what it's called? I believe how it's pronounced, but it translates to fist flowing like water.
Yeah, he's done some really cool shit, man. He's done like with a lot of movies, but he's like within the world of martial arts. He is a master. There's this story about him doing a demonstration in Los Angeles, and he gets a standing ovation for his demonstration of Kubudo that like 7,000 people just went nuts for. He taught Bruce Lee how to use the nunchaku, which is kind of crazy considering how connected Bruce Lee is to that now.
Right.
I don't know if he's great in this movie, but he's cool. He's cool. He's a cool dude. Black Star Ninja.
He is, and it's like it's underwhelming because they wanted Dudikoff to get the main the main action in this. When I wish we could have seen what Yamashita could have done. Like, just let him go, man. Come on, yeah.
And in the end, this movie, the stunts and things in this movie are pretty. I think the fight scenes are pretty decent, all things considered. With a guy who doesn't have much martial arts training, I think Michael Dudikoff comes across as capable.
He does. It feels. I know it probably wasn't filmed in chronological order from scene to scene,
right?
But it feels like watching the first takeover from the convoy, and then like the end when you watch the scene where he's entering the compound at night. Like, that action scene seems more sharp than the convoy scene does.
Yeah,
and it seems like it progresses as it goes on.
That'd be interesting to find out because I completely agree. Like yeah, you're right. That early convoy scene is like,
it's very heavy and kind of just motion and yeah.
But that final fight scene is great. I mean, it's pretty well done.
Up to the end is great. Yeah,
that's Michael Dudikoff. Those are the supporting characters. there's a lot to talk about.
Can we spend 1 second real quick to talk about Colonel William Hickok, Gweech Cook?
Yeah, let's do it.
Gweech Cook is a sixth-generation Texan. Born and raised, so he's born and raised on a Texas ranch outside of Austin. Cook's big thing was that he bought Luckenbach, Texas. He bought the city, and he was the one who brought in the Luckenbach World's Fair and Chili Cook-Off. So, you know, like, I don't know if you've heard the Willie Nelson song or the Waylon Jennings song, Luckenbach, Texas, or Merle Haggard song. I can't remember if it's Waylon Jennings or Merle Haggard, but Luckenbach, Texas. But yeah, he bought the city and brought that in, and which is a huge event. I don't know if they hold it anymore, but he did that, and now he owns a restaurant in Fredericksburg, Texas. But that was pretty cool.
And he's still alive.
He's still alive, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And how about, here's a fun personal quote from Gweech. When asked where Gweech got his unique name, he answers, "Daddy raised dogs, and he gave all the good names to the dogs."
Oh, that's what I want my kid to say about me.
Yeah.
Gweech.
Well, Marcus, you're a Texan. Had you heard of Gweech before?
I had not. No, never heard of him.
Well, there we go.
Yes, that was a fun little find.
You know, he had a recurring role as the warden on Walker, Texas Ranger, Texas Justice. She's the sheriff. I mean, a lot of Texas stuff. Oh, he was an Airwolf in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had quite the TV career. Good
he
for
was in
him.
Piranha, the original Piranha.
Yeah, how about that?
Cool. Yeah.
And who was the other Texan you were thinking of? Or the guy
Don Stewart, the actor who plays Ortega. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he had actually understudied to Robert Goulet on Broadway.
Oh!
Yeah.
Whoa.
For the production of Camelot. So I found that kind of
interesting.
funny. Yeah.
And our buddy, the asshole who wants to play hacky sack so bad at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Is that Philip Brock? Is that who played him? Charlie Madsen.
Charlie Madsen. Yeah.
So that's Philip Brock, and he is what an annoying fuck he is.
Man.
He's done quite a bit. He was in Enough Said as Jason, which was one of Gandolfini's last movies. He's still working, man.
Good for him. Yeah, that kind of. It just seemed like he was just on set trying to get a part, and they're just like, Jesus, fine, just get in the movie. And then it's just him just acting the way he was. Hacky sack! Assholes!
Hacky sack! Hey, give me the ball! It's wild, man. His career is long, but he's like, a lot of his stuff that he's done is like just very small parts. He was in Highlander 2, Running Mates, that's fun. Cheaper by the Dozen. Like a theater patron in Cheaper by the Dozen 2. Yeah, just all sorts of stuff. Let's go ahead, Marcus. That's the cast. There's some really unique people in this movie, and there's a great documentary about this movie's making on YouTube you can find. The interviews Michael Dudikoff now, and interviews a lot of the cast and the director. And but let's go ahead and let's talk about the body count.
Ooh. I killed them. I killed them all.
I see bodies in the floor.
No, they're all dead. They're all dead.
How many people are get killed in this movie? Because it's so much more than I thought.
Yeah, it immediately just with the convoy scene, I was like, "Whoa! I don't remember this this violent." Yeah, I would say 42.
So much higher.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes.
One more guess, and I'll go 65.
114.
Jesus Christ! Seriously?
114. Now, I did not go back and try to count it. I'm just going off IMDb, so take it with what you will. You know, I'm looking back, and I guess they're just assuming a lot of kills, like a slice here, a slice there. They're just dead. But, wow. That's violent.
That is 114. Jesus.
And we have to assume that they're all mostly done by Black Star and Michael Dudikoff. Joe.
Yeah.
Joe. Good old Joe.
Joe Armstrong.
And there was a tagline. There are two versions of the tagline. The Orient created the world's deadliest art. Now there's an American master. The deadliest art of the Orient is now in the hands of an American.
It always feels like that's a slap in the face kind of, the deadliest art. Well, now an American has. Now
get ready.
Get ready
because now there's steak and handguns involved. And so that's the tagline. And let's get into the movie. We get to meet Joe pretty quick, and he is just minding his own business in the coolest fucking way you could, flipping a butterfly knife while all the other people play hacky sack. And he's just sitting there, flicking and flopping. And this is when I don't like the private guy, the Phil Brooks character, whatever his name is. This is where I don't like him. The guy's sitting there doing his own thing, and then all these people are playing hacky sack, and he's like, "Oh, I'll show you guys how to do that." And he goes over there and just starts picking it up. Did you know? Yeah. Like, he picks it up and just starts tossing it around. Like, that's the point of hacky sack.
It's like, come on, man.
It was the weirdest thing to me.
Haven't you played California games on NES by now? Like, don't you know how to play hacky sack?
Nice reference, Marcus. You win that one. But he's like, let me show you guys how to do that. Like some latchkey kid from the Newsies background actors, and he's like, he picks it up, throws it behind his back, and then he finally kicks it. And now, as a kid, when I first saw this movie, I thought, oh boy, Michael Dudikoff's going to be really good at hacky sack.
That's what I thought. I thought, did I miss a part as a kid, where Dudikoff just shows him up on hacky sack?
That's what I was waiting for as a kid. I remember that very well. And like, even as an adult, I was like, I feel like they really missed a part.
Yeah, yeah.
And he doesn't. It's a strange thing because he doesn't do anything. Like, they kick it right at him, and he doesn't really even flinch. He doesn't move. He doesn't like catch it
with a butterfly knife or something like that. That's what I wanted to see.
He's just standing there. He doesn't even move. And while I don't like him, I agree. He's kind of being an asshole.
Yeah, he is. He could have just easily thrown the ball back. Yeah.
Just give the ball back. What are you doing?
Like, we know you don't want to get involved, but it's just hacky sack, Joe.
Yeah, man.
It's just, your cover's not going to be blown here, man.
Yeah, no one's going to think you're a ninja because you hand the ball back. But eventually, we realize it's the general's daughter.
Yes.
Is it the general's daughter?
Colonel's daughter.
Colonel, thank you. Colonel Judy Aronson, and she's being transported somewhere, and she's very unlikable, too.
She is. I will give her that this gets thrown out of hand way too fast. Especially the thing is, it throws you into action immediately, but also the Colonel gives this speech to her, not Ortega, but the captain who's there, and the asshole who's in on it, and everybody's in on this whole thing at the base, but yeah, he's like, I don't want, we know how these convoys have been attacked, blah blah blah. And it's so like, why send your daughter on this? If, it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, so we're to understand that we should probably let's. I'm going to read the synopsis real quick.
Sure. I got it up if you need.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead,
so the synopsis for American Ninja: in the torrid heart of the Philippine jungle, a humble U.S. Army private suddenly develops legendary skills and stealth. Believing he is the professor of ancient martial artistry, he takes on the fearsome black ninja in a final duel. So it doesn't really tell you the whole ins and outs of everything, but it tells you what's in it.
And I gotta say, the ins and outs of this movie are weird. Like,
there's so many moving parts to this.
Are we to understand that Joe has never left the Philippines and he's been there as a kid this entire time? Because that guy's there.
Yeah, he has to. That's what it has to be. Yeah.
So Joe was trained as a ninja, and there was a roadside explosion that gives him amnesia. And has his master known where he is the entire time?
I don't think Shinyuki knew. From what I could tell, he knew that he was on the same base, or he was on base there at the same place. Okay. Pretty much, he thought he just left. Maybe gone back, got a college degree, working at an IBM startup or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Booming in the 90s.
Right.
So when does Shinyuki realize, oh shit, that's him?
When he comes back after the when he goes to the initial when he hops on the truck and goes all the way back to the cargo hold And then he's trying to get away from everybody, and then Shinyuki
like,
comes and shows him how to get out, and he's like, when the time's right, I'll tell you what's going on here. Yeah. And he's like, dude, this is the first time you've seen him. You don't know if you're ever going to see him again. Just tell him what's going on, man.
Yeah, man.